Internet of Things. Hey y'all, Mario Martinez Jr. here, and I'm over here at University of Texas, Dallas, with the great Dr. Howard Dover.
Hello.
And we are here with all of his students, and we are going to be actually working on a debate for, what's the topic? Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence.
Will it delete?
It'll change everything, or, oh no, it won't.
So we got to find out. Let's first meet the teams, and we're going to walk around here. And we're going to be meeting the team that's arguing whether or not artificial intelligence will change the world of sales.
It will. Yes, it will.
Yes, it will, huh?
Yes,
okay, well, let's meet. Who am I speaking to?
I'm Gloria.
Gloria?
Yes.
Well, Gloria, what's your last name?
Lule.
Lule? Nice. Oh, that's a beautiful last name. Nice to meet you, Gloria.
I'm Jennifer Wynn.
Jennifer Wynn, nice to meet you.
And I'm Paige Wilson.
Paige Wilson, fantastic. Well, ladies, we look forward to hearing from you. And we're going to migrate over here to the next table on artificial intelligence. Will it change sales? And you're saying...
Exactly. I'm Pierre.
No, not Pierre yet. You're saying it will not?
No, exactly.
It will not change sales. Okay, now give me your first and last name, Pierre.
Pierre Goulet.
Pierre Goulet. All right, sounds good.
Ji-eun Park. Ji-eun Park.
Caitlin?
Ji-eun.
Jeetlin, okay.
Ji-eun. I'm Crystal.
Crystal.
Yeah,
my name is
Huh. I'm not making fun of your name. I just want you to know that. All right. So we're going to let this debate begin, and we're going to walk back over here to get us started. So hang tight with us for all you YouTubers out there, and we'll get the party started in just 1 second here. Whoops. All right. We're ready to go, Dr. Dover.
All right. Thank you all for being here, and definitely those of you out on YouTube that will either see this live or see this later. Post on LinkedIn. Post on LinkedIn. You get posted on LinkedIn and ready to go. And so tonight we're going to discuss in the late hour. This is a double header. Earlier tonight we had Scott Van Santucci and debating with Mario Martinez on the future of sales enablement. Tonight, now in the late hour from Dallas, Texas, we're going to be debating the future of sales from the perspective of AI. Artificial intelligence, will it change everything, or nothing's really going to change? And we will start with our two teams. So let's go ahead and start with opening statements. Did you all maybe decide who would like to go first? Oh, we had a deferral over to it's going to change everything. You have an opening presentation? All right.
Turn on your mics.
Let's go.
Turn on the mics. And talk into the mics.
We're good.
Ooh la la. Okay.
Okay, so well, first of all, I'll introduce myself one more time. Paige Wilson.
I'm Jennifer Wynn.
Gloria Lule. So we kind of wanted to take as you can see from our presentation, that we use the Mythbusters to kind of really clear up some of the misconceptions that kind of surround artificial intelligence. We feel that kind of because of Hollywood, a lot of people have developed a lot of unrealistic ideas that surround artificial intelligence and kind of get the idea of iRobot and Terminator and robots are going to take over the world, and we really want to kind of clear that up, and we also feel like that will help us kind of understand why it can be such a revolutionary technology for both sales and marketing. So I'm going to play a quick minute of a video just to kind of go through some of these different misconceptions.
Every day, a large portion of the population is at the mercy of a rising technology, yet few actually understand what it is. Artificial intelligence. You know, HAL 9000 and Marvin the paranoid android. Each generation has formed its own fantasy of a world ruled, or at least served, by robots. We've been conditioned to expect flying cars that steer clear of traffic and robotic maids whipping up our weekday dinner. But if the age of AI is here, why don't our lives look more like the Jetsons? Well, for starters, that's a cartoon. And really, if you've ever browsed Netflix movie suggestions or told Alexa to order a pizza, you're probably interacting with artificial intelligence more than you realize. And that's kind of the point. AI is designed so you don't realize there's a computer calling the shots. But that also makes understanding what AI is and what it's not a little complicated.
Okay, so kind of go back to this a little bit later. So kind of our first myth that we're kind of exploring is AI is going to take my job. That's a lot of different people's fear, especially in sales and marketing. And that's the truth is AI will not take jobs, but rather enhance positions that marketers and sales for marketers and sales personnel, not eliminate them. So we're going to see more of a shift towards the less tangible aspects of creative and business planning, and kind of moving away from some of those more administrative tasks and things like that. So while we may see different, maybe some jobs being eliminated, specifically business administrative, we'll also see other career fields being able to emerge. Specifically, we feel like data scientists and data analysts are going to really be of high need and kind of bring in a new career field that, while there are some currently right now, we feel like that's going to continue to grow. So AI isn't going away, and companies need to start using it to create the most enjoyable experiences possible or risk being left behind. So the second myth is that AI can operate on its own. The truth is, implementing AI is not as easy as flipping a switch. It's going to require manual input and work to be efficient. It's not going to be something that's going to be seen results the next day or overnight. And I think that's where a lot of people start to think that AI is not effective because they have unrealistic ideas or goals about the amount of time it's going to take to really gain the information, the data, and the analysis. So we'll kind of talk later about a lot of AI vendors who are already providing this software and technology that can actually work specifically with each company's goals, be integrated with their CRM softwares and their point-of-sale software or analysis to be able to actually work with them and make their goals possible. So there's a lot of different areas that AI can kind of affect in sales and marketing, but we really want to show that you can also, you can gain more insights when you're actually knowing what you're looking for and having those clear goals. And then last myth is that AI is only for large companies. And we're actually seeing that it's being utilized by a lot of small companies already. I had the opportunity to listen to a podcast from the founders of Kahuna, which is actually an AI software that's being implemented really heavily in e-commerce. And this example is actually Yumali, which is an app-based business that surrounds recipe finding and being able to have specific results tailored to your needs, allergies, or different kind of favorites or things like that. So Kahuna was actually able to work with Yumali to find the best way to communicate with customers. A large portion of AI in marketing and sales is predictive analytics, and we're starting to see that by being able to actually accurately predict when we should contact a customer, how we should contact a customer, should we even contact them at all, can really go ahead and enforce user engagement. Companies are spending millions of dollars on customer acquisition, and we're kind of in the position where we need to continue to foster those relationships, and AI is providing the ability to provide those unique experiences on the individual level, and moving away from this batch-based kind of marketing or sales. So I just want to play a couple more minutes from this video real quick.
Broad area of computer science that makes machines seem like they have human intelligence. So it's not only programming a computer to drive a car by obeying traffic signals, but it's when that program also learns to exhibit signs of human-like road rage. As intimidating as it may seem, this technology isn't new. Actually, for the past half a century, it's been an idea ahead of its time. The term artificial intelligence was first coined back in 1956 by Dartmouth professor John McCarthy. He called together a group of computer scientists and mathematicians to see if machines could learn like a young child does, using trial and error to develop formal reasoning. The project proposal says they'll figure out how to make machines use language, form abstractions and concepts, solve kinds of problems now reserved for humans, and improve themselves. That was more than 60 years ago. Since then, AI has remained for the most part in university classrooms and super secret labs. But that's changing. Like all exponential curves, it's hard to tell when a line that's slowly ticking upwards is going to skyrocket. But during the past few years, a couple of factors have led to AI becoming the next big thing. First, huge amounts of data are being created every minute. In fact, 90% of the world's data has been generated in the past 2 years. And now, thanks to advances in processing speeds, computers can actually make sense of all this information more quickly. Because of this, tech giants and venture capitalists have bought into AI and are infusing the market with cash and new applications. Very soon, AI will become a little less artificial and a lot more intelligent. Now the question is, should you brace yourself for yet another Terminator movie live on your city streets? Not exactly. In fact, stop thinking of robots. When it comes to AI, a robot is nothing more than the shell concealing what's actually used to power the technology. That means AI can manifest itself in many different ways.
Okay. So we kind of want to pinpoint and show that AI is really already here. A lot of people sometimes don't understand that with your how much AI is already influenced in their daily lives through Netflix recommendation, Amazon, chatbots, Siri, talk to text, everything is it's already here. And I found an interesting survey from Demandbase stating that 80% of marketing leaders say artificial intelligence will revolutionize marketing by 2020. So 98% foresee benefits using AI for their marketing, for their company's marketing, by providing better insight, more detailed campaigns, and identifying prospective consumers. I had the opportunity to actually speak with some people in the industry right now who are using artificial intelligence at work in their daily life. So digital marketing is specifically for digital marketing. AI is giving them the ability to have sift through so many different channel combinations and data for targeting, and they're being able to go through that more quickly and make decisions more faster and effectively. And for Ezekiel, who is actually with PwC Consulting in Silicon Valley, AI is currently influencing their marketing campaigns. It's creating a movement towards capturing information at a granular level to build a more cohesive customer story. And he also could see AI reaching its revolutionary potential in less than 5 years. Kevin Kelly, where we actually watched an interview from him, he was the founder of Wired Magazine, and he said throughout the business world, every company these days is basically in the data business, and they're going to need AI to civilize and digest big data. And so that closes our opening statement. Thank you. I'll leave it over to Tom.
So hello everyone, I'm Pierre. I will do the Kansai today. So thank you for the good presentation about artificial intelligence. We are just bringing 3 examples that to prove to you that it's not a revolution, it's only a new tool for business. So it's only a tool with many problems. We brought you some problems we can see in so many companies, and for sure you have some example tools. And it's not a revolution. So for the first example, I will look like Microsoft, like everyone knows. So I will give an example that you use artificial intelligence in Twitter. So in attempt to form relationship with younger customers, Microsoft launched an AI-powered chatbot called Tai on Twitter. Tai modeled around a teenage girl, morphed into, well, Hitler-loving, feminist-bashing troll within just one day to use. So we can see that we need human observation on AI. So after this experience, Microsoft launched Tai of the social media platform and announced it plan to make adjustment to its algorithm. We're waiting for it. Like, why we bring this example? It's from many reasons. So the implementation of AI does not work as expected, not mature enough to run by itself without human observation. So it's a good point. You said it, but we can see that it's not a revolution because we need still the human observation. Companies are not ready to implement AI appropriately. So I have a few questions for you. That can a machine understand question even when it doesn't have the answer? A piece of software that's simultaneously smarter than us and entirely cloudless. Today, AI is overtly mimicking our own tendencies. And I have a number for you. It's really interesting. It's simple automation system fails about 75% today. So few years ago it was up, but it's still high number. For the second example, it's about Admiral. So it's an insurance company in Great Britain. So you should know that insurance company use Facebook data to issue rates. So the England's largest vehicle insurer, Admiral, set out to use Facebook users' posts to see there was a correlation between their use of the social media site on whether they would make good first-time drivers. But they failed too. Why? Because Facebook blocked the company from accessing data, citing its private policy for users that states companies can't use their data. So, as evidence by this example, AI systems are deeply prone to bias. So we can see that if they don't have the data, they can't work properly for AI. I have another number for you. It's very interesting. It's a satisfaction of companies are using automation programs, and only 12% are fully satisfaction in 2016. We talked about Netflix just before, like it's good for the predictive, what we can see, like they say, but they tried something else. About build a collaborative filtering algorithm to predict user rating for films. So they put $1 million on this project, but the complete model never got deployed for the user rating for films. We can see that there are few problems on that. It's the low understanding of underlying models with business, not enough understanding of the business problem, too complex model for implementation, and unstable models. So now, like we can see that 50% predictive models don't get implemented. So we try to prove to you that yes, AI is a reality, AI is good, but it's not a revolution, and it's only a tool. We want to try to explain to you that the human observation and the human's feeling, it's really important to use perfectly AI. So I have the first question to start for the pro side group. Say AI is not developed enough to be implemented in broad field. How do you think that this AI in fetus stage can make a revolution? Thank you.
Okay, so I think it's important to see that artificial intelligence is already being used heavily in B2C. And kind of also in this projection where we can see it going for B2B sales and marketing. So a large portion, I feel like, of AI's importance comes into this predictive analytics and being able to tailor this unique customer experience to each individual and moving away from a batch kind of way of marketing and grouping multiple people together and seeing that we need to, the way that you advertise and market to one person is going to be different than we do to another. So one area that it's heavily being used in already is in e-commerce sales. That a lot of e-commerce people are starting to see to pick it up, and in app-based businesses as well. Last year alone, there was $280 billion in abandoned shopping carts from all over the world. So what AI is hoping to do is really bridge that gap by providing these unique experiences on a more individual level. The best AI software will be tailored to each business for their unique needs and goals. And vendors will take this approach, will want to speak with you and understand the expectations and business objectives. So to kind of go back to your question, we already feel like that it is being developed and is kind of being broadly used in the field. We see it also being more used in business-to-business sales as we see that more of a social selling kind of aspect coming into business-to-business. In fact, I believe 57% of business buyers or B2B buyers are more likely to abandon brands or businesses who cannot predict their needs. And so there is currently 75% of B2B buyers prefer purchasing online, yet only 25% of B2B buyers are doing that.
Is there a question? So you're supposed to ask them a question, right?
Well,
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I got lost.
my apologies.
Okay.
So I guess to you that we might ask is, if you don't feel that AI is a revolutionary tool, can you share with us why it's revolutionary? Or what is, revolutionary?
Hello. Okay, hi, I'm Crystal. So, to answer this question, personally, because a lot of I've seen a lot of people talking like AI is how important it's going to be, and like basically the myth they said in the first in their presentation they try to demyth those stuff. Yeah. So I think AI the revolutionary is going to be like something that is really, really huge. So I define revolutionary as something as important like agricultural or industrial revolution. So I've heard that a lot of media says the broad use of internet is the third revolutionary things in this world. It's called informational revolution. And in this revolution, I think AI is part of it instead of another new wave. That's our answer to this question.
Mario, do you want to chime in?
What was the question over again?
Okay, so the question was, if AI is not a revolutionary tool, can you share with us an example that is, and why is it revolutionary? And she's mentioned that agricultural and industrial revolution was her example.
Something that was revolutionary would be the introduction of CRM, the typewriter, WordPress, email. It's something that changed the way we fundamentally interact with people, or that we changes an entire industry and how we interact in business, a process. Artificial intelligence from our perspective, or this team's perspective, is definitely changing processes, but it's making us, actually, it's augmenting our activities to be smarter in the right places at the right times. It's not fundamentally changing entire in the B2B space. In the B2C space, I don't think we don't have any disagreement, right? Yeah, in the B2B space, this is everything B2B and B2C? Well, I mean, it's like painting a paintbrush, right? It's like this, the full swap paintbrush. It's like throwing red paint on the wall and seeing where it sticks. But in the B2B space, specifically, our artificial intelligence is going to make our salespeople and our marketers more intelligent to make better informed decisions, to take better actions in working with potential prospects and customers.
Okay, so you mentioned that the CRM tool is revolutionary, right? So why would you say AI is not revolutionary? It actually interprets the data that you put into the CRM,
But it's only as good as the data that you're inputting,
correct?
right? True, it is any system, but before, when we had a CRM, where did we keep our stuff at? Where we kept our stuff at was right here, on a piece of paper. When I left the organization as a salesperson, what did I take with me? All my paper, right? So that fundamentally changed the way we behave and how an organization can gather data and use that data over and over and over again. So that's already being existed. That's what I'm saying. Artificial intelligence is just using what we've already seen before. We already seen this before, so it's nothing revolutionary in that regard. We're using data, and we're able to retain that data to be able to make decisions and have better educated decisions, and artificial intelligence is allowing us to do that a little better. That's why it's not revolutionary. But CRM would be revolutionary.
But what I've heard you just explain now is a revolution in the way that we use data. What I've heard you explain now is a revolution in the way that we actually use data. That, yes, maybe the data is still in the same place, but AI has fundamentally changed the way we're using it. So that in itself is a revolution. Just because the data is maybe in the same form that it was before, we're not using it in the same way. So I understand why that wouldn't be considered a revolution, just because even though we are using it in a completely different way than we were 10 years ago with the aid of AI. Yeah, that's the rebuttal statement.
Guys? Anybody want to say something? Take it away, Pierre. You got this.
No.
Okay.
Top of the microphone.
Okay, so my statement was what I heard, or what I hear you guys explaining is that, is that the data is in the same place, but the way we're using it has changed. So that in itself is a revolution. Just because the data is in the same place, saying that AI is not a revolution is unfair, to be honest, because we're doing it in a completely different way. We're using the data in a different way. So why isn't the fact that we're using data differently considered a revolution just because it's not stored in a different manner?
So we are not using in different way, we are using more the data. It's like we have already the data, now we are using like at 100%, not maybe now at 100%, but we want to use the data at 100%. So it's not revolutionary because it's just the way that's going. That in the beginning we used a little bit of data, and now we are using more of the data. So for me, a revolution is when the way it changed, and the way it didn't change. Just the process is better than before.
Okay.
So let me chime in and give you a very interesting example of IBM's Watson. So IBM Watson was deployed in the city of San Antonio, and it was able to actually look at the crime patterns, the time patterns, and the seasonal patterns of all violent crime in the city of San Antonio. By being able to understand the predictive analytics of crime across the whole city, the police department of the San Antonio Police Department deploying Watson was able to deploy their police in the spaces of the city when crime was going to hit and therefore we're able to reduce crime. Is that not an evolution or a revolution in the way in which policing was done as it decreased the crime in the city?
That's a great point. I would argue that it's an evolution, not a revolution. Think of it this way. Remember the days of driving through a red light, and you didn't have to worry about whether or not the camera was going to take a picture of your driver's license, of your license plate? An evolution of technology created cameras that can not only see at nighttime, but also determine with a contraption how fast you were driving and whether or not you went through that red light, and it would take a picture right before you went through it, right? So this is an evolution of technology, not a revolution that has taken place.
Okay. So let's go to the next question. We'll open it up for questions in a few minutes.
So in slide, you mentioned the AI creates like a higher job or opportunity. So according to our Amazon and Google campaign report, so Amazon and Google is okay. So Amazon and Google is one of the top companies to utilize the AI system, right? And what they're doing is that they actually remove some agent that are interacting with the customer, but they actually increase the marketing and sales effort. But let's see the reality that by adding the more workforce in the marketing sales is a changing of their nature to like doing business, because they still need the same process to like implement the contact with the customer and fulfill their like satisfaction and make the right items to be fulfilled. But it's even before the AI, they still need the same thing like with the human agent, same process, but they just relocate the number of people to work to back up the AI generated lead. But it's not changed. It's just a way of changing the business, but it's not completely revolutionized because the whole process is similar as the before the age of AI. So what do you think that so if the AI revolutionizes the business, why they have you still need more marketing and salespeople?
Can you clarify your question? Is what you're asking is, are the jobs just being moved around? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, because, well, yeah. So you say it's a revolutionize, okay? So the revolution, we think that it should be changed, not just process, but the entire market change, like market nature. But let's see, Amazon and Google, they still need to hire more marketing salespeople to fulfill the customer needs.
Okay. How I would answer this is that I found, according to Forrester, in research from June 2016, they said that yes, there's actually going to be a loss in 7% loss of US jobs in 2005 as a direct cause of AI. And these jobs are very specific. As Paige highlighted, they're going to be lower level jobs in marketing jobs, more administrative or more, even some of the creative side is going to be lost because of AI. But with this, new jobs are going to be created. Higher skill jobs such as content curators, data scientists, robot monitoring professionals are all going to be created, and jobs are going to be created. So this is a revolution. It's completely changing the skills required to be a marketer. If you're in marketing now and you don't adjust and you don't learn the new processes of how people are automating emails or curating content, you'll be kicked out. You lose your job. You need to keep up, and if that is not a revolution, then what is?
So I'm going to chime in with a thought. I listened to the president of the American Marketing Association here in Dallas when he described that IBM and the American Marketing Association have entered an agreement in which Watson is currently reading everything in the libraries of AMA for the last 60 years. Every piece of data, every piece of research, every journal article in the Journal of Marketing. And in the next year and a half, it will have learned everything that exists in the AMA libraries. And then you will be able to say, Watson, give me a report about the falling geographic market and the potential for a specific area. And then it will be able to go into the annals of everything that exists and produce the preliminary research that we currently hire entry-level marketing people to do. He introduced this as the future of marketing and said we will have to change the way we think about how we do marketing in the future if we can simply ask Watson to provide us the basic research we currently pay people to do.
That's the question.
The question is...
You get more time to think, okay?
the question there is, does that not change everything?
Personally, can I say something? So, I think Watson is reading all the research paper into its database or something, and then you can ask him to provide something you want, and then you can search the best word or the best match you can find. But the first thing is the computer scientists, they're going to program Watson in a way to let it learn. So there are different ways to let Watson learn, and one way is let it like self-learn, and by that they have to set Watson to do something like, we want you to do something and this is success and this is failure. So Watson has to like fit the success that the artificial intelligence scientist made it at the first time, set it to be like do something like that. So I think it's wait a second. So it's still a lot of human involved inside, and Watson cannot do everything that accurate based on this like a setting at first. And
If I understand you correctly, you're saying that the programmers in the learning that Watson's doing will have to tell Watson it's a failure or a success? I don't know if that's true, but that's what you're saying. So what is your thought to that? That we'll only get what we program with AI. So we won't, we're limited with the, so if I understand you correctly, what you're saying is that AI is limited by programmers' intent and the way the programmers define human judgment, and that AI can't develop its own judgment through statistical analysis, data learning, Bayesian statistics, and linear programming and all other statistical computations. So
yeah, there are many types of AI, and one particular big one I think you're ignoring right now is machine learning. We can program a machine to learn. So it's not just the capability of what you have programmed in it. If you let it expose it to the data, it will learn and predict what is the best option. So that in itself is not just having a machine that is limited by what someone has programmed. The fact is we've created a machine that can learn. Or we've created, programs that can learn. So that is a revolution. And yes.
And in addition to that, after the bot has learned whatever it's trying to learn, I think it's important to acknowledge that there are going to be jobs created for people to actually monitor these bots. You cannot just let them learn the processes on their own and act on their own. You'll have to monitor them and also just kind of keep them in check. So that in itself changes the job market as well. You're going to be people are required to have more scale level jobs to actually monitor these bots.
But is your argument that it is going to change jobs in the environment and the world in general, or as it pertains to sales?
Which of them say sales and marketing?
Because everything you just said, though, is the world.
Yeah, we were doing that.
Break that down about how it breaks down. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. How it breaks down into the world of business-to-business sales.
We were saying this in response to what she had asked. She just said AI in general is limited by how much people can program. So yeah, our response to that was to the
Yeah, and I think she's saying that though because she's identifying that in the B2B sales world, that you cannot eliminate the human interaction,
Definitely.
right? And so from an AI perspective, she's saying it's limited by the ability to programmers to program what it is it needs to learn, which doesn't take into account, from miscategorizing, it doesn't take into account this human behavior that is an element of business-to-business sales.
Yeah, we did say that. There's no, at no point are we saying that a human element is going to be completely replaced. We've said just that what AI has changed, but definitely there is going to be human element in it, in any, especially in sales and marketing.
And I also want to answer that question again. I've add some. The first thing is that it wasn't input all the marketing research I have, like ever happened in the human history, stuff like that. Then probably when you ask him a question about maybe how can I sell this thing to like a job that has existed for a long time, you may pull research from 1976 and say this is the answer, but. So you have to define, make it be like maybe the most recent or something, and that also biases the whole judgment process.
So I think Mario has brought up a good point, and that is to bring the context and stay within the context. Even though we've had some other discussion about AI, and let's talk about, the impetus for this is the fact that Salesforce.com has spent an extensive amount of money to buy up AI tools and launch Einstein. And then, of course, there was with big fanfare here in the last 6 months, there was the announcement that Einstein and Watson are going on a date. And they're I don't know what they're gonna do, but they're gonna do something, right? And so obviously the question is, is this a big deal? Is this a big deal? And if so, what and why? And so that's the context here. Do we have where are we at with questions? Which group is asking a question at this stage? Where we're here, are you asking a question at this stage? So can you ask a question maybe within that context of the other group?
Oh, we are waiting for the pro group to answer the second question. Yeah, we are.
So I guess how this can kind of apply to what we're talking about right now is whether we're looking at B2B and kind of the this new digital consumer, I hate to even say kind of new, because over the past few years, it's grown to be more of a topic in how we market or sell to people. And when I'm speaking of this new digital consumer, it's more of the high expectations that customers, whether it's B2B or B2C, are expecting from businesses and brands. So I guess my question to you is, if you don't think that AI can be a revolutionary technology, how do you even suggest effectively communicating to customers?
We acknowledge that AI will change some parts of the marketing phases, but that is the basic level of the marketing, such as auto-generated mail or putting customer data or marketing strategies. And AI will increase efficacy of the marketer by reducing time to process the data. And however, we think that at the upper level, people will still need to work as a traditional way to solve some complex issue, which can be solved by AI, such as creativity.
Yeah.
So would you like to ask a question, or would you like to rebuttal?
Rebuttal. Good. So kind of going back to when you were talking talking about email, CRM, those were revolutionary technologies and things like that. The expectations of the modern customer are, they can't be bombarded with information that's not relevant to them. And so to create brand loyalty, whether B2B or B2C, it's important to be accurately providing information that is for that person. So we kind of get back to the same point that, yes, it might be the same data, but we're using it in a completely different way with so many different touch points. The best way to communicate with a customer. It was, for a while, it was email. In the past couple of years, mobile. Everybody thought that mobile was the way to communicate with a customer. And it's with the introduction, with AI becoming more and more present, we feel that it's becoming, you can't box it all into one area. And for each customer, you're going to have multiple touch points and almost a unique formula to best sell or market to that person. And so we kind of personally feel that AI is in the position of changing the way that we sell our market to this new digital customer, because they have such high expectations and can easily, if you're not providing the accurate information for them, to just discard you.
Okay. We want to answer something, reply to this. First, I think for AI to predict really, do the very customized thing to a certain customer, it has to first generate all the possible information of customer, who is that customer, and first the customer has to allow the AI, or the cookie or stuff, to track everything he's doing. And then the other thing, there are a lot of privacy issue on this topic, because if you collected all the data a person is doing, then probably you can predict what that person wants. Is kind of creepy for the customer to know that. So that leads to our question later. But first, do you have? Okay, can we keep on asking our question? Because it's kind of.
Well, I want to ask a follow-up, because I think what your perspective was in the B2C sector. The B2C sector, I need to opt in. However, in the B2B sector, usually I already own all that data. I own your click stream, I own every call I've made, I own every piece of collateral I've sent out, I own every step that you've made in the customer journey, because usually you're asking for it, you're downloading white paper, you're doing all these activities. So I have a flood of data on a B2B customer sitting in my Salesforce.com database, or in my Marketo database, or in my Parkgo, or wherever. So I have this explosion of data. How am I supposed to analyze that? Is not AI a tool that allows me to increase my intelligence and determine where to focus my Salesforce?
Sounds like it's a question for pro group, right?
For who?
It's not for us, right? But it sounds like it's for us. It's like, how is AI going to do that? So it's for them.
No,
You're asking us why?
No, I'm asking you if AI is not going to. I mean, that seems to me what AI is going to do. So
Make us smarter.
Yeah, it's to make us smarter.
It's to make us smarter. Yeah, it will make us smarter, and it will allow us to be able to make better informed, potentially better informed decisions on activities that we should take at the right time, at the right place, with the right type of customer, from an analytics perspective. But I think the argument here is that I think we started out with saying, is it going to replace sales? No? Have we ever got to that?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Okay.
Well, I'll bring us there. So here's the question. If I already know everything that maybe I should do, shouldn't I automate a redundant function that I can clearly see what a salesperson would or should or could do, and automate that whole piece?
The question is what you would or should or could do is the right thing that you would, should, or could? And that's where I think the human element comes in, to be able to assess, like, is this really accurate? Is this really true that this person downloaded 3 pieces of data and therefore artificial intelligence is telling us that they're ready to buy right now? The only way you can assess that is by having a conversation, not by serving up as an example, artificial intelligence says, hey, they've downloaded 3 pieces of data on this particular topic. They're high probability they're ready to buy. We do that today with lead scoring, right? Through systems like Pardot or Marketo, where we have built-in intelligence into the systems that says, hey, this client or this prospect, it may be ready to buy, but here's the #1 problem with lead scoring, which goes back to the point that you made earlier about programming with artificial intelligence. The #1 problem with lead scoring is that it's the marketing team that is inputting the lead scores and the tracking behind that. What actually is a good use of, not good use, what actually is a good score that says this client might be ready to buy. But they may not be there. They may not be in that particular zone yet ready to buy, and that's why you need the human to be able to assess that. And I think artificial intelligence is the same thing. Where am I here?
I'm smiling because I think, anyway, I don't want to hijack the debate, but
I think artificial intelligence.
You and I should schedule a
Hey, I'm arguing on the side that you assigned me to, okay? You gave me this assignment, Howard.
I'll agree with you from that standpoint, just that the fact that we have the ability to do dynamic scoring, but that we don't do it, and we have marketing and sales creating agreements instead of using that dynamic and using statistical analysis and predictive analytics to dynamically score. I think we could do that. I don't think we do that, and I agree with you. I think it's stupid. But I think we have the capacity to do that, but that's for another time. So if you want to go ahead and ask your next question.
Oh, but this, no, it's whatever. We asked the question we prepared. No? Okay.
Let's move to is it going to replace people? Let's maybe get to the meat. Because we're coming up on the 45-minute moment where we probably have a break for the night, so let's get to the meat piece.
We got any sleepers in the room? Everybody awake?
What's the question to wake up for?
Get to the meat. Chop to it.
Is it going to replace? Because I think we got a little bit awkward at the same point because those common pro group, we want to be the point that it's not going to be replace people, and we don't know which group is that position. Like we say no, they say no too. So we have agreement here.
Oh, so you don't think the store. So you don't. So both groups think that AI will not replace any headcount. Is that what I heard?
No.
Just checking. Just checking. So we have varying degrees of views on headcount reduction. So do we have a question that's already been defined in that space that somebody would like to ask?
Yeah, it sounds like. Do you have a question here? I saw.
Am I allowed to?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you think that it's going to replace people, or like what types of people do you think it's going to replace? Or what types of salespeople?
Can you repeat that question, Howard, so that the video can pick it up?
Yes. So you're asking if it's going to replace people, what kind of people is it going to replace? Is that what you asked, Brian?
Yeah, so like what kind of a salesperson would replace?
So if it's going to replace people, this would be your group. If it's going to replace people in headcount, what type of people is it going to replace? And I guess the question there is what kind of efficiencies are we going to see and what kind of headcount reduction are we going to see?
I mentioned earlier, from Forrest, what they had said about a net loss of 7% of US jobs by 2025. And those are specific to the lower level, like recent graduates, jobs that are more administrative, more like, less skilled. sales and marketing jobs will be replaced in the recent future, but higher skilled jobs are going to be created. The need for higher skilled people is what's being needed now. People need to increase their skills in order to be a capable marketer nowadays. You can't just be a simple I create an ad or I just do one thing. People need to learn how to deal with data, learn how to deal with AI. So definitely the lower skill will be removed, higher skill is going to be in demand.
What's an example of lower skill in sales?
Okay, so you can just say,
like an SDR, a BDR, a business development rep, or a sales development rep?
We just from, you can say recent graduate jobs where people sort of like just go on cold calls and random calls without data backing it up, more just, lower paying. I don't know how to be more specific. Maybe.
Just to add on to what Gloria said, I think you won't have to add more sales reps to your team. AI is going to make you much more efficient, so you don't have to spend more of your revenue hiring more people to send out to the field, because now your sales reps or your entry-level salespeople are much more smarter and more equipped, and you don't have that 9-month period of onboarding a salesperson. So you kind of cut that down, and AI kind of enhances your sales. It helps you reach your sales goals.
And also real quick, I just wanted to add, something we've actually discussed in this class before was that whenever companies are going out and looking for new salespeople because they think that we need to grow our sales team to meet our goals because we're not meeting our goals, so we need more people. When you're actually going out and getting those people, a large percentage of those people are not necessarily those A+ salespeople. I mean, if they were amazing, great salespeople, they would probably be staying where they were previously. Now, you can't make that an assumption, of course, for all entry or people looking for sales positions, but that you're also, with the using of AI, you're kind of not wasting that time, that money on people who are not at the equipped level to actually help you reach your bottom line goals.
Go ahead.
Go. Ask it.
Mario, so do you think AI will replace the sales enablement? The AI can do lots of things, can do product information, and we do the training part. We can content, training, and product information, create content, and analysis customer content to each individual customer, each individual client business. So using AI will replace the sales enablement.
The question is, do I think that AI, artificial intelligence, will replace sales enablement and things like content and what were the other items you mentioned? Training. Gotcha. This is a really good question. You want can I come out of I'm going to come out of my personal, my teammate here. I think personally there's no end to what artificial intelligence will be able to provide to us. And you guys are laughing over there. You're like, I'm asking if I can come off of my team, okay? There's no limit to what artificial intelligence can do, but I think there's something unique here. You think about this in the aspect of sales enablement doesn't do content writing, just so you know. They should never do content writing, in my opinion. But you mentioned content writing and training. And artificial intelligence will, I just came off of a 2-day training program where I was training salespeople how to leverage social networks to connect with their buyers. And what you can't get out of artificial intelligence, at least today, is emotion and connection. And I'll give you an example. There were, in the training, there were a couple of moments in time where I was showcasing real live examples of salespeople interacting directly with executives on social networks. And there were some of the most pathetic interactions that I've ever seen. A salesperson telling a senior vice president, CIO of a company called Public Storage, I don't know, a little company that has over 2,000 locations, Public Storage, right? I can help you, why don't you send me an in-mail? So during that training, artificial intelligence would probably look at that and analyze that and say, wrong move. But to get that point across to the sales organization, as I stood there, I stood up and said, what would you think if you received this? And in that training, I stood there, I put my hands just like this, and I said, cuckoo, cuckoo, right? That person is cuckoo. And made the room go die in laughter, right? Because they weren't expecting that. And it allowed us to be able to interact in a way that artificial intelligence cannot display that type of emotion and connection on a human level. Does that make sense? And so I think in that regard, it'll never replace the sales enablement function, in my opinion. Will it add value in terms of data analysis and predictive analytics of which salespeople may not be successful because of this pattern? Yes. Will it add value to which salesperson you need to be able to train because this is what's happening when they talk on a customer call or they're analyzing, as an example, a video conference? Absolutely. And there's tools like gong.io that is actually analyzing conversation streams through zoom.us. And it's actually listening to how much time is the sales rep talking versus the customer. How much of a pause does that sales rep take before when a customer finishes answering a question and they immediately jump right in, right? And it's giving predictive analytics about behavior that sales reps need to watch for and learn how to in order to become better salespeople. So I think it'll provide that level of detail to help us make better informed decisions, because at the end of the day, we're humans, and humans have to have human interaction. Now I'm back into my team.
So we're at the end of the evening from a class standpoint. So we're going to go ahead and have each of you do your final statement. So if you'll start first, and then you'll go next, and then I'll let you have a thought, and we'll kind of wrap it up.
After that.
Okay, I'll do a short one. So for final statement, as our team, we think artificial intelligence is going to do something in the longer future, and it's going to change something. Yeah, but not very, very recent. It's still in the development stage, and it's pretty cool to know this topic. And you want to say something?
Are you switching sides? You like the other side of the earth.
We know that artificial intelligence here in marketing and here in business and here in sales, but the reality is that we know we have seen many success and failures with artificial intelligence, and we know its limitation is self-defined. You need training, you need to be human observation, and we still need human interaction, especially there's a new rise in the AI uncanny valley. So like people getting creeped out of the AI becoming too similar to human. So according to technician, University Challenge in 2016 case that people say humans are more skeptical of AI when they are known together chatting agent, especially like AI is without human control. So what it means that if AI is just a tool to make people smarter and to make more efficient, but it does not change the nature of the need of sales and marketing first. We just reallocate people, reallocate the resources, and reallocate the budget to increase our revenue. And so.
Okay, that's our final statement. Yay! No, you have something else to say. She has something else to say. Go ahead.
Okay, first point, for AI to be revolutionary, we don't think it has to get rid of large amounts of jobs and positions. We're coming from the standpoint of how operations are going to be changed and making people more effective, more efficient at reaching their goals, and changing the way that we go about the process of connecting with a customer, whether it's B2B or B2C. So do we see, right now we do see that AI has the potential in the next few years to be a revolutionary piece of technology in how we go about connecting and building customer loyalty, brand relationships, and just how you actually sell or market to a person. Do we necessarily see it as being a industry-wide crossing all different paths in the next 5 years of becoming a next industrial revolution? Not in the next 5 or 10 years. I do think it has the potential of completely hitting that point a little bit after that. But sales and marketing right now is at the forefront. And to be able to really communicate and foster these relationships and have a productive company, then you do need artificial intelligence to stay in the game.
My turn. Round of applause for everybody. Good. You guys did a really good job with some of your research and some of your arguments. And I don't think this team is actually too far away from you. You know what's interesting though, when you think about artificial intelligence, and you think of all the things that have changed the way we operate as individuals, and as a society, and as how we interact with our customers. Without a doubt, artificial intelligence brings something to us that we otherwise didn't have. And that's the ability to be able to predict certain types of activities, behaviors, long-term, short-term, things that we otherwise as humans can't process as quickly as we would like to do that. And so will it revolutionize sales? Yes, it will. In my personal opinion. We all agree. I will tell you that I was on the phone with these guys, and Crystal was like, but no. And at the end, I was like, okay, so the real truth is. She was like, I knew it! It will revolutionize sales. Will it replace people? Some. And it depends on the industry. But there's one thing that artificial intelligence will not be able to do. And that is when I reach out and shake your hand, when I reach out and give you a hug, when I actually empathize with your scenario, situation, your kids, your family, the things that we do in sales in order to be able to build long-term relationships. And I talk a little, this is a new talk track for me, is talking a lot about our job in sales is to remove the professional distance between us and our buyer. Our job is to remove the professional distance between us and our buyer. Why is that? As Anthony Anarino would say in his book, all things being equal, all things being unequal, relationships always win. And for the most part, I would say 85% of the time, relationships always win. And so what's interesting is that artificial intelligence will help serve up these analytics and this data so that as salespeople, we can actually interact and we can actually engage with our buyers in a way that would help us to remove that professional distance. And it's up to us to be able to actually use it. And if you think about, I know you guys have just spent a lot of time on social and social selling and social networks. A lot of this data is already there from our buyers. And the way we are engaging with social as a B2B salesperson today is we are trying to process all of this information that's out there available, that someone's pushing out there. And we are trying to say, what could I use to engage with insights? What could I use to be able to help a buyer and be able to strike a conversation? What could I use to be able to get into that person's door? Now imagine when it becomes much more complex and much more reliable, that data now is being sifted and sorted through and actually served up to you as a report. That, oh, by the way, this individual is a varsity football coach for the high school that is 2 miles away from your house, of which your niece goes to, right? And this was an actual real-life example of a prospect that I was showcasing yesterday during training, and showcasing to people like, this is real data that's out there. You just don't even know that it's there. You're not processing it in the way that artificial intelligence could actually help you process it quicker, faster, and better to make better informed decisions so that you can connect with your buyers. So in my opinion, it could revolutionize the way we sell and engage. But what it won't replace is it won't replace the secret handshake. And it won't replace that hug. And it won't replace the empathy that you show to a buying customer as you build the relationship with your buyers. So, thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tonight. I know it's been a long night, and I think that one of the things that, I think Mario and I would agree that one of the reasons I think we both went to Palm Beach, Florida in October or November is that we feel that sales is different. Things are changing. A lot of the people that talk to me in my position as the director of the sales program here at the University of Texas at Dallas is that lots of questions, not a lot of answers about how to sell in today's environment. Things that have been working have less efficacy than they did before. We're now communicating in a very different way. Customers are wanting different communications, and we're all starting to communicate. We have so many modes and methods of communication, and so I think we're woefully inadequately trained for the world we now live in. And so smile and dial and pray and spray and what does Scott call it tonight? The throw up? Show up and throw up, yeah. Show up and throw up. I gotta get that one down. These communications, people do them because they don't know what else to do. And by the way, they work. At the end of the day, they work. They generate revenue. But they don't generate revenue efficiently. And so I think that's the journey that everybody's on, is how do we develop efficient revenue? And how do we do it with less headcount, maybe smarter headcount, and more efficiency, and build our brands better. So I'm excited for where we're headed. I think it's a fun place to be. This is not a boring area of space. We're not going to have the norm for a while. We're moving, we're shifting, and that we're in an agile environment that's constantly changing. So it's fun. It's a fun place to be. If you're looking for a stable place, don't be in sales and marketing right now, because it's a moving target, which makes it a fun place to hang out. We look forward to talking to everybody in the future, and thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. That's the end of class.
It's the end of class. Dr. Dover, you want to say any final words to our YouTube Live?
Yes, thank you, Mario, for coming to Dallas. And we look forward to having you with us for the next day. And whenever any of you get a chance to swing by Dallas, we're doing some fun things. So,
all right. Hey, y'all. You guys want to say goodbye to YouTube? Oh, come on. Give us some life. Bye. Bye. Over here on this side.